class. Today we're going to talk about ethical leadership, specifically an ethical leader in Marcus Aurelius. Now, before we begin, can someone tell me what the definition of ethical leadership is?
Oh, yeah.
Rachel.
Well, Dr. Professor Man Jeff, an article I just read for fun this weekend says, ethical leaders lead with respect for human rights and dignity. Additionally, ethical leaders are fair, value-based, follow ethical decision rules, and are altruistic.
Why is ethical leadership important, Eamon?
Ethical leadership is important because the leaders strive to proactively influence the ethical behavior of their followers. They explicitly and visibly strive to uphold ethical behaviors and expect their followers to uphold these behaviors.
Wonderful. And Hannah, can you tell us what the benefits of ethical leadership are?
Sure. Ethical leadership has been associated with positive followership behavior, such as increased trust in the leader, leader effectiveness, credibility, legitimacy, and the portrayal of more ethical behaviors from the followers.
Looks like you guys really dug into the readings this week. So now let's talk about an ethical leader from history in Marcus Aurelius.
Marcus Aurelius was born in 121 CE. Not born into royalty, he grew up working hard and learning valuable lessons about wealth and modesty from his parents. He was noticed for his dedication and work ethic by Emperor Adrian and was later adopted by Emperor Antoninus Pius. Marcus had many inspirational, world-class intellectual masters tutor him in the ways of the world. Marcus began studying philosophy and was inspired by the Stoic principles set out by a former slave, Epictetus. The three topoi of Stoicism correspond to three distinct areas of discourse a philosopher needed to be familiar with: the physical, the ethical, and the logical. Marcus used these three tenets to rule in an ethical, logical way, so historians consider him the last of the five good emperors.
One thing to learn about Marcus Aurelius, but another to meet him. So come on, class, let's hop in the time machine and go be Marcus.
Welcome, Marcus Aurelius, your Emperor, your Highnesses.
Please, just Marcus.
We're studying ethical leadership, and we're wondering if you could answer a few questions for us.
I would love to.
Thanks so much. Can you tell us some of your values that make you an ethical leader?
Of course, as a philosopher, I adhere to the pillars of Stoicism: physics, ethics, and logic. In regards to ethical leadership, I believe it's important to model virtuous and moral behavior, not simply preach it. I put the needs of my followers first and strive to work for the common good.
Great, Marcus. There are 5 values that are critical for ethical leaders: pride, patience, prudence, persistence, and perspective. Do you have an example of when you exhibited these traits?
Well, yes, I do have a lesson about patience and perspective. When dealing with people you may be angry with, it's important to think as they think. That way you understand where they're coming from and try to find an amicable solution. If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake in any thought or action, I shall gladly change. I seek truth, which never harmed anyone. The harm is persist in one's own self-deception and ignorance.
Great.
Awesome, thank you for sharing. One more question. How do your followers perceive you? Do you think your leadership has an impact on them?
Yes, definitely. I'm quite well loved and respected. I've enacted many policies that are for the good of the people, such as reducing punishments for widows and slaves, and I've even differentiated between civil and criminal law. I try to improve the quality of life for all classes of people throughout my empire. Throughout my rule, I encourage free speech, interest in the arts, education, and even boosted the economy. And lastly, I'm one of the few emperors who will die of natural causes.
Well, it's like kind of weird that you know that. Well, anyway, we'll let you get back to being a super ethical emperor. Thank you so much for your time.
Well, class, what a great trip. Wasn't it incredible to see someone lead the entire empire through turbulent times of war and plague, while still upholding his own values and doing everything he could for the betterment of his people? What did you all think?
Yes, that was incredible. That was the most amazing experience of my life. So for me, a key to ethical leadership is consistency. And Marcus had clear, consistent expectations of ethical conduct through his policies, practices, coaching, and so on in support of ethical behavior, to the point to where one of his most important messages was that the only rewards of our existence is an unstained character and selfless acts. I mean, his journal is referred to as a definitive text on self-discipline and personal ethics.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like when I think of Roman emperors, I think of lavish parties and conquests, but Marcus Aurelius seemed like he genuinely was trying to be a good man and an ethical leader. And I think that's rare when you're presented with power.
I completely agree, Hannah. It seems as if ethical leaders work for the good of other people, and I think Marcus Aurelius definitely demonstrated this as seen by the implementation of his altruistic policies. Since ethical leadership is based on reputation, especially with respect to the highest positions of power, it's amazing how the ethical reputation of Marcus Aurelius has transcended through the years and continues to be upheld.